Hi, everybody. I hope that you're having a good Friday. It's thank goodness it's Friday. Although in this pandemic time, a lot of us are, not really spending uh, weekends any different than we're spending weekdays, right? They just all sort of run together. But that's all right. I think this will be over too. And gosh, there are so many positive things that have come out of this. I mean that, when one of them is that we've learned how to communicate remotely better than ever. And that's going to save everybody time and money. It's going to allow us in the long run to live better lives than we would have when we thought we had to go see everybody in person, right? And that's the good news. Hi, Jason. I'm glad you're on. I want to start by answering these questions that have been submitted. I'm sitting down today. Usually I do these standing up, but I'm going to see how it goes sitting down. And if I don't like it, then from now on you'll see me standing up. Hi, Anisa. So the question first, asked by Heather, our remote pet groomer, says, how much should I charge as a consultant for people wanting my expert help? I've had several dog groomers across the U.S. reaching out to me, asking for information and knowledge about growing a mobile grooming business. I don't mind answering a few questions, but I also want to start adding consulting to my resume. I don't know how to charge for this type of service, and I'm looking for some advice on this. So, Heather, I think first of all you've got to get a sales talk when people call you for information, and I think it should be something like this. Sure, be glad to answer one or two quick questions for you. However, I do have a consulting service where I help people put together remote pet grooming. And I'd be glad to send you some information on it, and then you can go into the details. And that way they'll stop asking you questions because they'll understand that this is how you get paid. Now, how should you charge? The least I think you should charge is about $250 an hour. That would be the least. I just don't know any consultants out there that are meeting with people for less than that. I do 2 monthly coaching sessions, and my regular price is $700. They're hour long, so it's about $350 an hour. Now, don't be shocked at that if you're one of the people I coach, because for members of AO, I only charge $500. So it just depends. But now you're going to have to put a program together. If you're going to be a consultant, you're going to have to put a step-by-step implementation process together for these people so that they will feel like it's worth the money to have you give them the consulting advice. If it's just stream of consciousness off the top of your head, you shouldn't charge them anything. It's got to be well planned out and well thought out. Anybody knows that has me as a coach, that we have a planned lesson every time, and that we know exactly what we're going to be doing so that we can accomplish the most in the limited amount of time I have that hour. Okay? Hope that helps, Heather, and I hope you're doing well in these crazy times. The next question is from Jason Antonino, and he says, when starting out as a consultant, how to identify who my ideal client is and where to find them? He says, I know this is a basic question, but I'm brand new to self-employment and I really want this. I'm a sole proprietor building an aromatherapy consultancy brand. Try saying that fast 3 times. Struggling with identifying target customers. I am basically trying to be a consultant to individuals, helping them understand how to use aromatherapy in their life. So it sounds like a couple of things, but you're probably also selling a product, I'd guess, Jason, because you're not just consulting on aromatherapy, you're probably trying to get them to use products that you recommend and sell. So anyway, I don't have a good answer for this question. I can tell you what I think. And I thought about it yesterday when I got these. I thought about it again this morning when I reread them, and I just don't think I have a good answer. You have to figure out who your ideal client is. Now, in other businesses that I've bought, the way we do that is we look at who our past clients have been and what characteristics our past clients have in common. And then we look for that kind of person going forward. And I think that would be a good methodology for you. The thing I don't know is if you have any past clients yet, and if you don't, how you're going to get your initial clients to determine who your best clients are. So I hope that at least gets you started on the path. Be glad for anybody else listening to this to chime in with Jason, try to give him some advice on how to identify the ideal client for aromatherapy. Okay? Next, this is from Anisa. She says, do you recommend getting a separate phone number for your business when it comes to putting it down on business cards? So, Anisa, I answer my phone the same way all the time. Tom Black. And so I don't need a separate number. Now, I have an office number where my assistant is, and it is a specific business number. But I put my cell number on my card. I put that office number on my card. I put a couple of different emails on my card so that people, if they really want to get a hold of me, they can. But in this day and time, I don't think you need a separate office number, especially for your services. Now, the next question is from Erica. And Erica says, what are things you have done to rid yourself of negative friendships and relationships? I've got a quick and easy answer to that. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Just practice it. Bye-bye. She goes on. I have a cleaning business and e-commerce store, looking to scale up into real estate and marketing. I have previous friends and relationships, and when I tell them about what's going on in my life and my goals, they always seem to get negative or tell me that I should just go to get a job at Walmart, or that I think I'm better than other people or whatever. It's really hurting my feelings, and I'm trying to figure out how to overcome those feelings. Do I remove myself from those friendships, or what have you done to overcome those things in your entrepreneurial life? Well, so you're talking to a guy born in a boxcar. And I had an epiphany, a meeting with one of the early influencers in my life, a manager, and this is what he told me. He said, when you're in grade school, you have a certain number of friends. Then you go to junior high and you leave some of those friends behind that don't have the same interests or ambition as you. And then you go to high school and you leave some of the junior high friends behind because, you don't have the same interests as them. And then if you go to college and you leave a lot of the high school friends behind because they don't have the same interests and desires and goals that you do. And then when you go into your business life, your whole life, you'll be leaving people behind as you advance up the food chain, or you'll be stuck and you'll find other people leaving you behind. But whatever the case, you're going to have this your whole life. And, it's rare when you have a friend or friends for a lifetime, because just like it is rare if you're married for a lifetime, because it's very difficult not to outgrow the people around you, or worse, the people around you outgrow you. And so, first of all, I think that you just need to accept the fact that there are going to be people you need to leave behind. And secondly, when you do have people in your life that are negative, you can just smile inwardly and tell yourself, I'm doing the things that other people don't want to do, so that at some point in the future I can do the things that other people can't. I'm doing the things now that other people don't want to do, so that at some point in the future I can do the things that other people can't. And that's exactly what I told myself over my whole career. People say, Tom, why do you get up at 4 o'clock? You don't have to get up at 4 o'clock. I'm doing the things now that other people don't want to do, so that at some point in the future I can do the things that other people can't. Okay? Donovan. First, how do I develop a sales process and sales and objection handling scripts for my business? As a new product business, is it a good idea to incentivize, I'm not sure that's a word, new customers in order to make them a longer term customer? He sells magnetic eyelashes on both online and in person. I have never established a professional sales process with scripts. Do I do this myself online? And if so, do you have recommended resources, or should I maybe hire a coach to help me? And the reason I ask about incentives is because there are a lot of crappy products out there that people try, and then they hear about mine and are reluctant to purchase because of those crappy companies. What are strategies to overcome that? Thanks so much. Now, Donovan, this is Belle, I guess. Belle, this is a question right in my wheelhouse. This is a question that I understand completely the answer to. First of all, yes, you should get scripts. You should have a commercial that you are using that is you when you talk about your product. That means if we did a commercial, we would write scripts, we would film it several times, get it just right, and then we'd play it. And that's exactly what you should be doing when you talk about your product. If you don't, you're less than a professional salesperson. A professional salesperson knows exactly what they're going to say before they say it. And the superstars know exactly what the prospect is going to say after they've said what they're going to say. And that's called answering objections and pre-planning answers to objections. So, Belle, I think this is something that you would be better off with a coach. I'm working with several, I'm not trying to sell my services, but I'm telling you, you should get a sales coach, because they are going to be able to fast forward you through this process so you don't have to learn about it on your own. So I'm a salesperson, and I'm a really good salesperson, and made millions of dollars selling products. But I had to start somewhere, and I didn't start trying to figure it out online or by figuring it out by trial and error. I had a sales manager, and he taught me how to do this. You don't have a sales manager, but you can get a sales coach, okay? And so I hope that helps, and of course you can contact me through AO, very easy to find me. Thank you. Okay, Allison, her question is, should I allow a client to temporarily suspend services during the pandemic? This is the scenario. Digital marketing business, last name pronounced Koyanagi. Sounds like an Hawaiian name. In my state, we have a mandatory 14-day quarantine for any travelers returning from other states or countries. Probably is Hawaii. Our state heavily relies on tourism, and many businesses have been closing or suffering because the quarantine deters many tourists from visiting and supporting these businesses. One of my clients told me today that they would like to suspend services until the quarantine is lifted, which is tentatively September 1st. My agreement says the client needs to let me know 30 days in advance if they would like to cancel, but does not specify anything about suspending services. What's the best way to approach it? Should I suggest a deferment of the August payment until the end of September while continuing services for him, or should I just suspend services hoping he really will want to continue services after September 1st? Thank you for your time and expertise. So if I had a digital marketing business and somebody asked me to suspend until the quarantine was over and it was 2 weeks away, I would suspend services and I would suspend payment. And if you can, it would be nice for you to say, I'm not going to charge anything for August, but we are going to start again in September. And then I would go ahead and get him on a monthly billing process and continue assuming that he is going to work with you. There are no guarantees in life. And as a result of that, we can't guarantee that they would stay with us if we suspended or not. But the right thing to do, I believe, as a human being and as a professional, is to grant the request and then do everything you can to keep them as a client after September 1st. Okay? I hope that helps. Next, as I add people to my organization, how do I get everyone to fully utilize our CRM? So I know a lot about this too. So only 60% of CRMs that have been purchased by companies are implemented. That means 40% of the companies out there bought CRMs and they're not implemented. So Adam, the question you ask is a common question, and a very common question. And so, you know, Adam says that he's working with financial consultants, and he wants to be able to track what the financial consultants are doing, and the best way for him to do that is through the CRM. And if they don't enter the data into the CRM, is customer relationship management software. If they don't enter their data into the customer relation management software, CRM, then they are going to leave him uninformed, and he doesn't like that. He wants to be in control. And I totally understand what he's saying. So there are lots of things you can do, both positive and negative. Now, take this no matter what business you're in, okay? There are positive incentives and negative incentives. Here's a negative incentive. We can't pay you, Adam, we can't pay you commission on any of your deals if they aren't in the CRM. Here's another negative one. We pay less commission on deals that aren't tracked in the CRM. Another negative one. We just don't work with anybody who doesn't use their CRM. Okay? Positive ones. If you use your CRM and you track your data, we pay you more. If you use your CRM and track your data, we give you a bonus. If you use your CRM and track your data, we give you some kind of incentive. So a positive incentive, I mean. And so anyway, this positive incentive, negative incentive thing is a principle you need to apply to the use of the CRM. There are no tricks to getting people to use a CRM. 40% that have it don't use it, right? And we know that 60% of people who have it don't use it. We know that. So you're fighting an uphill battle here, but there are things you can do to get them to use it in terms of incentives. And by the way, have you got a really good sales talk, Adam, that you can say to your financial advisor? This is why you ought to use the CRM. Boom, 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 boom. And the only way to do that is to schedule a specific time each day to enter the data. Tell me, what time are you going to enter the data into your CRM? And you can manage tightly that way to get them to do it as well. So you guys, if you've heard me before, you probably heard me mention this book, Happiness Advantage. And what I learned from that book was enormous. But one of the things I learned from that book was that you can make it easier for people to do things by moving it 15 feet closer. So a guy goes into the author of the book. The author of the book is a therapist, a psychiatrist, and he goes into that the therapist's office and says, I want to watch less TV. So the therapist says, take the battery out of the remote and move it 15 feet away from where you usually keep the remote. Guy comes back and says, I'm watching less TV. Guy comes in and says, I want to play the guitar more. Therapist says, okay, where do you keep the guitar? The guy says, in the closet. Therapist says, put it out in the middle of the room. Guy comes back in a few weeks, says, hey, I'm playing the guitar more. Guy wants to work out more. Therapist says, go to bed with your workout clothes on and your workout shoes beside the bed. Guy comes back and says, hey, I'm working out more. So I think you guys get the point, right? That if you can help these financial advisors by making it easier for them to use the CRM, move it 15 feet closer, okay? Next, Christopher Joseph. Do successful people or people with a successful mindset, there's no difference, by the way, ever have days of loss of motivation or focus? Do they work through it regardless, or do they take a break? And if so, for how long? A 15-minute breather, an hour, a day, etc. Well, I think that we all have downtimes. Everybody has downtimes, no doubt about it. I have downtimes, Sean has downtimes, everybody listening to this video has downtimes. We're human, we have mood swings. The point is that you don't have to let your mood swings affect your performance. What do I mean by that? So you can perform despite your mindset. So when I have a downtime, I know I've got to do work. I say, I hate the price, I love the prize. I hate the price, I love the prize. I find a trick of thought that allows me to leave my comfort zone and go back to work or accomplish the things that I know I need to accomplish. And you can find your own trick of thought that helps you get through these negative times. Take a break, sure, if you need to. If you're tired, go take a nap. If you didn't sleep because you were working all night, go take a nap. But the point is, most successful entrepreneurs in the startup phase of their business are working somewhere between 12 and 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bill Gates says a startup entrepreneur should not take a day off the first 2 years they're in business. Okay? Next. Oh, that's my last question. Okay, so exactly, we got done in 25 minutes, so we're a little bit early, but I appreciate the questions. Feel free to send in more questions next time, and I look forward to coming back on here again. You all have a great weekend, and go sell something!